Okay, so you've just found your childhood Game Boy Advance, but it won't power on. In this video, we'll take a look at the common reasons why this won't switch on. Let's hope we can get this working for you so you can play all your childhood games. This is the Game Boy Advance I've picked up from eBay, and it was sold because it has an intermittent power button and sometimes it won't switch on. But as intermittent problems go, when you want it to happen, it doesn't happen. So this is switching on continually while on video, and it seems to be working okay. But we're going to open it up, we're going to clean it out, clean the power switch out, give the shell a clean, and we're going to put it back together. So if you have a Game Boy Advance that won't switch on, I'll take you through the steps of diagnosing what the problem is. Now the first thing to note is the switch. This is just a cover for the switch, so it's no good dripping alcohol or cleaner in there because it won't actually reach the switch. You have to take it apart to get to the switch inside. And to take it apart, you will need a tri-ring screwdriver. There are 6 tri-ring screws, and there's also small Phillips in the bottom here underneath the battery cover. Let's get that open. It's worth noting all those tri-ring screws are the same size, and there's a little black Phillips one for underneath the battery cover, so you don't have to worry about remembering which screw went where. The back just lifts off. There's no ribbon cables or anything like that to worry about. So it looks nice and clean. Doesn't look like there's any problems. We can take these triggers out. There are 2 Phillips screws holding the motherboard in. But before we undo them, we will undo the ribbon cable at the top here for the screen. Just push those little 2 brown tabs, and the screen cable should just gently prise out. There we go. These screws are a little bit smaller, so we'll put them to one side. The last thing you want to do is to put a longer screw through there and have it come out the front of the console, and that's the motherboard removed. So let's take a look at that switch. So the switch is actually a slider, and when it's in the off position, it connects up these 2 pins, and when you slide it to the on position, it connects up these 2 pins, and that's all that it does. Now the voltage comes in on the positive terminal here, and it goes to this fuse here. You can check that with continuity on your multimeter. That. It comes through the fuse, so you can check the other side of the fuse, continuity. It then comes down to this pin 2 on the switch, and when the switch is in the on position, like this, it connects up from pin 2 to this pin C here. So you've got a flow of electricity running through here to here. It then goes through this L1 component, which is an inductor. It's basically a coil of wire, so it comes out of C and goes into the bottom of the inductor. It then comes out the top of the inductor here, so I have continuity all the way from the positive terminal, and then it goes into Q5, so I have a positive running all the way through the fuse, through the switch, out of the switch, through the bottom of the inductor, out of the top of the inductor, and into Q5. So if anything from here to Q5 is faulty, the Game Boy won't power on. So you could have a dirty battery terminal, The battery terminal could be loose, which doesn't seem very common. The fuse could have blown, so you can check the fuse in continuity mode. That's working. You can check the solder points on the switch. They could have came loose, or the switch could actually be faulty. Put some IPA in the switch here to make sure that's clean. You should have continuity on the inductor, like that, so that's working. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things to check if your Game Boy Advance won't turn on. You can do that with a simple multimeter in continuity mode and listen for the beep. So before you do the screws up, make sure it's working with some good batteries. Give it a couple of powers on just to make sure. So with the console back together, I think we should test a game. I've got Bubble Bobble. Moment of truth. Got the Nintendo logo. And there you have it. There you go, Bubble Bobble. Retro classic. So if you have a Game Boy Advance that won't power on, those are the first things you would look at. First of all, known working batteries. Second, check the battery contacts. Third, you're going to have to open it up and clean the switch out and make sure that the fuse in the inductor have continuity. So I hope that video has helped you, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you can give us a like and perhaps a subscribe. Thanks for watching.